Welcome back. So about 4 months ago, I posted this video and I still get comments on it that are like, thank you, this was so helpful, blah, 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 blah. So I figured I've learned a lot more since then, and people have more questions that they've been asking in the comments on my videos. So let's do another video. And that's what this is gonna be. We're just gonna go through, I pulled 10 comments that are a mix of advice given to me that I have found very useful, and then just people asking questions. I've already replied to them via text, but I figured everybody could benefit from the knowledge as well. So let's just dive right in and get to this. I also try to do a mix of, you know, beginner stuff and then kind of more advanced type questions. So this first one is, how do you know the values of the seemingly random things you purchase? Do you research individual items and just know because they're in a certain category, or is there a handy app for values? Here's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I'm gonna even screen record it for you. So just go into your eBay app, type in what you're looking for, or scan the barcode, and filter sold and completed, and then it can show you exactly how many have sold and for what price they have sold for in the past. That's it. That's all I do. You can also do the same thing on BrickLink. Like if you know the part number or anything like that, you can just look it up and there's a whole chart of just how much it's sold for and how often it's sold for in the past. And if you're just getting started and you really want to have things that move quickly, which I kind of recommend, you don't want to be sitting on stuff, then take your time and just look stuff up in the store. And then once you get more experience, you can take riskier moves and things like that. The next one is kind of related, but I can expand on what I was just saying a little more. They say, hello, enjoying your channel. I was wondering how difficult it is to gain the knowledge to resell. Do you just randomly buy things and hope they have value, or do you know which items are worth more? How do you differentiate between low quality items and high quality ones, especially having the knowledge to know what sells quickly and what will sit in a shelf for ages? So kind of in the same vein, right? Just filter, sold, take a look. How difficult is it to gain knowledge? I can only advise what I did, and that is just going to a thrift store every day and just, that's your training ground. Just looking stuff up. Is this worth selling? Nope, put it back. Is this worth selling? Nope, put it back. And what happens is you just start to like gain knowledge over time, and you just get a sense of things like DVDs. I've looked at so many DVDs that you just kind of start to see things that look unique or out of place, and you're like, oh, I've never seen that before. And then you can pull it out and you can check it. And then that's kind of how I operate in that domain. And then what will happen is, you do all that training inside the thrift stores, and when you go to yard sales or you're just kind of scrolling through Facebook, like your instincts just kick in. I find it kind of rude to be at somebody's yard sale and looking stuff up. Also, here in Chicago, we have big community-wide sales where it's like a whole block of houses all having a yard sale at the same time. And if I take 5 extra minutes to look something up before purchasing it, 3 houses down, somebody who has a lot more knowledge than me has already bought everything. So my prerogative is to move faster and to train my eye, train my base knowledge, so I can move that much faster. I wasn't gonna do a what sold video, but we need to kind of jump in here real quick because we had a viewer sale, and I wouldn't show it until like a week from now. So let's just do it right now. Somebody got a lot of heads. And this isn't just any somebody. This is a guy I know named Rich. And we did improv together. We made some great short films together back in the day. I would love to do that again if we ever have the time. Here's an extra head, Rich. You can have another one. I don't know if those shorts are on YouTube. Probably not, because we used copyrighted music. But Rich, if you're watching and those shorts are available somewhere, drop a link below. I think people would like to watch it. Yeah. Let me get you some other extra stuff, because you're a cool guy. Maybe you can display the heads on that. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with all these skeleton heads. Back to the questions. Hey Travis, love to follow your journey. Could you roughly tell me how much money you put in for your inventory when you started? and where you are now. Keep it up, man. Thanks for the encouragement. I really appreciate that. When I first started, it was just stuff we had sitting around the house, and that's an advice you're gonna get from a lot of other reseller type people. It's just, don't even buy anything. Just like, is there a movie you haven't watched in a long time? Is there a video game you haven't played in a long time? Is there an action figure you're like, I really don't care about that anymore? Is there clothes you don't wear anymore? Just anything and everything in your house. Do exactly what I just said. Look it up, see if it's worth selling, and that'll start to train you as well. And then you have $0 invested, and you can make mistakes and all that stuff because there is little to no risk at all. As to where I am now, that's difficult to say. I have over 1,100 listings on eBay, and some of that is just garbage from my early days. That's what these boxes are up here that I'm still slowly selling, but really a lot of it I should just get rid of. And then I have like a little over 8,000 in BrickLink inventory, and obviously some of that's going to move faster than others, but that's where I am now. Brace Bricks, he's been a friend of the channel for a long time. He says, I'm glad you mentioned a potential Q&A video. I've been meaning to ask your thoughts. I am starting to see more video games pop up in my local thrift stores, so I'm curious what your standards are when you pick those up, particular titles, consoles, condition, etc. Otherwise, great sales and great finds at one stop is pretty lucky. Video games, same stuff as earlier, takes time to look stuff up, train your eye. I would say in general, couple thoughts. There was a big video game bubble during the pandemic lockdown. People were willing to spend much more money on kind of mid-tier video games. That bubble has popped. Video games have really come down in value, and you're really looking for special ones or getting them super cheap. Like, I'm comfortable buying a game at $1 and selling it for $8. Like, I don't mind that at all. But most thrift stores haven't realized there was a bubble, so they're charging like $5 for a video game, thinking that like, oh, somebody's going to spend $30 on this. That's just not the case anymore, unless it's a really good title. So you're either looking for really cheap video games that you can flip for still on the cheaper side, or you're looking for just really good titles, and that's just training and learning. I would say in general, sports titles, there's exceptions to every rule. In general, sports titles are not going to be worth your time. Modern PlayStation games, I would say starting at PlayStation 3 and up, not really worth a whole lot. PlayStation 2, you have your nostalgia factor, and just a lot of games that weren't remade, so you can make quite a bit of money on PlayStation 2 games. Pretty much anything Nintendo. Wii U is still kind of like doing this, but there are Wii games. Michael Jackson's Dance Experience, like, you can sell it for like $20 still. That's crazy. But only on the Wii. There's a 360 version that sells for like $4. And Xbox is kind of the same way. 360 and up, there's not a lot of games with a lot of value. And you'll start to, as you go through thrift stores or yard sales, you'll start to see, I see that game all the time. I'm not even going to bother to look at it anymore. But the old Xbox games, the nostalgia factor is huge. You can make some good money on those. There are, of course, exceptions to all these. I am not a video game expert, but I like picking up video games that... because Lego can take some time to process and get sorted. But a video game, if the disc is real clean, your risk is super low. And now I have a friend who he has a disc repair machine, so I'm even more comfortable now buying a scratch disc, paying him a little bit of money to fix it up. So, but if it's super scratched, I'd recommend just like staying away unless you have a repair machine or a means of testing it. You can also always sell them as untested on eBay. You can just put in the title untested, 4 parts repair, and then you can't sell it for as much, obviously, but if you got it for cheap enough, that shouldn't matter. This was some good advice. I love collecting clones. There they are. And I recently picked up a big $2,000 purchase, a collection from somebody, and there was some clone stuff in it, and I really wanted to keep the clones. They were sealed boxes, some really good stuff. I'm still holding on to Rex's ATTE because I'm trying to convince myself if I make enough money with the rest of the stuff, I can keep it. No, that's neither here or there, but they say you're doing the right thing putting the money in the business versus keeping the set. Compounding is where businesses grow. A few $100 now invested in the business might be double that next year, triple in 2 years, etc. You will get to a point where that $100 grew your business by 1,000, and then you can buy your set for 500 and still feel good about it because you got your set and increased your business. Small sacrifices now are worth 10 times that in the future, and that's a tough pill to swallow. I love Lego, I love action figures, and I find stuff that I want to keep, but that's not always the smart thing to do. And you get called a fake fan sometimes because people are like, oh, you're just interested in making money. And like, yeah, I want to make money because I want to work a job that I don't want to like harm myself. I don't want to say certain words. I want a job that I enjoy. I want to make money in a way that I enjoy. I enjoy Lego, therefore the two jive. But yeah, that's just good advice. You're gonna find stuff that you really want to hold on to, but sometimes you just gotta let it go. Matthew, love the videos, Travis. Random question: with complete used minifigures, do you find more success selling them on eBay or BrickLink? At the moment, I sell complete used sets on eBay, but I've accumulated a lot of random figs that are worth a bit of money, and I'm wondering the best way to sell them. I diverge from a lot of people on this, so I'm sure other people are going to have other opinions. eBay is still a great tool to use. It's a bigger marketplace. International shipping is infinitely easier from the seller perspective. It's more expensive for the buyer usually, but I like putting used complete sets on eBay because I can take lots of pictures. I don't have to handle a ton of questions from a potential buyer. It's just easier for me. Your fees are going to be a little higher, but you can also demand a little more in money usually via eBay. As far as specifically minifigures, I usually post those to BrickLink. I still have a handful that are on eBay that just never got moved over to BrickLink, and I should probably do that one day. But if it's a rarer minifigure that has condition issues, I had a Count Dooku one time, and there was a big scuff along his back. It's like I could describe that on BrickLink. I could send people photos who asked, or I could do one listing on eBay, have all the pictures right there for everybody to see, and then there wouldn't be a slew of questions coming in. eBay is just a better platform still, but BrickLink is, your hardcore fans are going to go there, and it's easier to connect with Lego fans. I'd rather have the easier sale and have less work to do. Mardi Gras Man, the dreaded advent calendar. Parting those Lego ones out are the worst. Amen. So every year I go through a thrift store and I see advent calendars for sale. And I think I would need to buy 5 of the same one for me to want to do that again. They're difficult. It's a lot of random parts. You might have one of this thing, 2 of that thing, 1 of that thing, 1 of that thing. It's just all over the place versus like a set, you have multiples of the same thing and it's easier to organize. And also like the advent figures aren't great usually, or aren't desirable usually, but they're frequently on sale, so you can get cheaper inventory that way. It's just, they're a lot more work than a regular set. This one, another Mardi Gras Man. This was in a recent video. I couldn't find some parrots that I had sold, and I was kind of freaking out about it. And he had some really good advice. He says, what I do for mislabeling is move it to stockroom with no remarks. It's basically lost. In the stockroom, it stays in store, but not available for resale. So if you ever find them, you can move back into your store. And this is like kind of advanced BrickLink stuff. So it's kind of hard to explain if you're not already familiar with the BrickLink system, but there's stuff for sale. You can label it as stockroom. So it's like technically in your inventory. It's like the back of the store, like back of Target. It's like not on the floor for sale, but you can put it there. And then if it was something you lost, you can, once you find it again, you can move it back to the floor for sale. That is just really good advice. I deleted the parrots before I read that comment. So one day I found the parrots. I just need to post them for sale again, but if I hadn't have found them, one day I would have just found random parrots and been like, why are these parrots here? So that's just really good advice from the Mardi Gras man. Skate for life 0. Question, the built sets, do you ship them built or do you take them apart? I ship them built enough. So I will... What I do is when I remember to do it, I need to be better about this. In the description, I'll put set will be partially disassembled for shipping. And that means like really long sets or really tall sets, they get taken apart just enough to fit inside a box. And, you know, this kind of is, let me check the next question. Yeah. A lot of people often ask, why don't you just like count the pieces and do it that way instead of building everything? I said, yeah, that's a smart way to do it. Just basically setting an on-built set. I don't like doing it. I got into this because I like Lego and I like building Lego, and I get the satisfaction of having built something, but I don't have the burden of keeping it. 1. 2, I run a YouTube channel. Watching me sit there and count out pieces for something I'm not going to build is not very exciting. So I kind of have an audience I have to keep in mind as well. That's 2. And 3, photos for eBay, or any other platform really, is I can take photos of the set and show it for sale. And I know I could use a stock photo or something like that, but that's how I feel about it. Feel free to disagree. That's how I'm gonna do things. This one, I found some Duplo stuff, and it's kind of like, I thought I was getting regular Lego, but it ended up being like all Duplo. And heads up, the Duplo cars from Cars are like $5 to $20, depending on which one you have. Mac is $30. I had no idea. No idea. And if I had followed my advice at the start of this video, I would have looked those up, right? But it just goes to show that, like, even I've been doing this a couple years now, and there's still stuff that I'm like, I have no idea. So it's a constant learning process that you're going to be going through. Okay, let's call that there. Thank y'all. I hope this was helpful. If this is something where I get enough questions, I would love to do this once a month, because when I was getting started, I just wanted somebody to tell me what to do. And if I can be that person telling somebody what to do, I would love to do that, because I know how difficult it was. You're kind of floundering. You have so many questions. So just drop questions below if you have more, and I will do my best to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I can almost guarantee you somebody in the comments will know the answer. Or we have a Discord channel that should be down below in the links. You can go there as well and ask the question there, and somebody will be happy to help, I'm sure. And no question is too dumb. We all got to start somewhere. So thank you all again. I will catch y'all in the next video, and happy building, happy hunting, happy all the things.